because you always used to act when defending.
I think it's like
Am I live? I should be live. People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. First things first, people. Good morning to everybody listening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope everyone's well and safe. I hope everyone's had a good week. I hope everyone's had a week to remember, moving that much closer to their goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. We've got one more day, people, so let's push, and make sure we end this week strongly so that we can enjoy a good weekend and do everything next week at the same token. I hope everyone listening and their loved ones are in good health. Yes, Arsenal fans, we're going to get into it. You know, we did lose yesterday, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, and this is coming from someone who lives and breathes football, there's very few things more important than football. Life is one of them, and at the end of the day, you know, life goes on, really and truly. You know, we haven't traveled well to Old Trafford at all, and you know, we got to see the good, bad, and the ugly. If only the game was played, in my opinion, for about, I'd say, approximately 13 minutes in the first half. If it was a 13-minute game, we would have walked away for the second time in about 17 years with 3 points. Unfortunately, that is not football. And on the topic of Arsenal, which we're going to get into, you need to play well for 90 minutes. Manchester United, the same, I think, you know, 3-2. You know, Rangnick. It's a bit unfortunate because I would have loved to have spoken about his press conference. I think he's saying some interesting things as we speak, people. Sorry, the chair is going doing a mazza. It's sounding very crunky and that. But I think you saw why both teams probably are not excelling. You know, obviously, neither team plays well for 90 minutes. United conceded 2 cheap goals. Yes, the Smith Rowe one was booky. And we conceded 3 silly goals that all could have been prevented. You know, don't get it twisted. You know, Odegaard's was a good goal in terms of general play. United popped us. You know, Ronaldo's one where they've capitalized on the mistake. I feel the Bruno one was really good. You know, we start well, but don't finish the game well. United start slowly. Both teams concede cheap goals and make it harder than it needs to be. Congratulations to Man United. You know, you have to be gracious in defeat. You know, I've got a lot of friends and family support Man United. They've been giving me a lot of stick, pause. But, you know, if we were going to win, we would have done the same. You've got to be gracious in defeat. They were the better men. No one was perfect. They were the better men. You know, I know I feel a lot of Arsenal fans are salty. Oh, they're not that good. They were there for the taking, this and that. I get it. You know, United, you could have got 3 points, but at the end of the day, you didn't, innit? Like, you didn't. We're both 2 poor teams struggling to play well for 90 minutes now. For Man United, let's just focus on them for a sec, you know. I feel watching the game again, Maguire needs his respect on the ball, and I think Arsenal needed to press him a bit better. I'll focus on that at 11:30 on YouTube. I think Jadon Sancho has had a good game. I think that's his 3rd/4th game in a row. I'd include his cameo against Watford, the Champions League, the Chelsea game, and yesterday, people. He might not have had a goal and assist for it, but Sancho seems to be finding his feet, and that's obviously good. Southgate, remember, you need to call up my man. Bruno scored, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, 800 goals, you know. Are we really amazed Ronaldo's done something else ridiculous? You know, Ronaldo, even I actually feel Arsenal kept him quiet yesterday, but he got a brace. So what could you tell him, really and truly? You know, cheap goals all over the shop. Both teams would probably want to do better across many aspects. We were not the better men on the day. You know, senior players hiding, senior players going missing, not playing well for 90 minutes. Very few positives, I would say. If I was looking for a positive, hopefully Martinelli's played his way into the lineup. You know, we can't afford to carry passengers, and I'm going to focus on Aubameyang. I don't want to make this the Aubameyang show, but if Aubameyang's not scoring, he's not providing relevancies, really and truly. If him and Lacazette are not scoring goals, Lacazette's a better individual. So for Everton, I would like to see Saka on the right if fit, Lacazette, Martinelli go over there on the left. Odegaard, I think people were getting at him. Ultimately, away from the penalty, he's a dud. He needs to hold his L. Again, I'm going to focus on that at 11:30. I'll actually watch the game again and screenshotted it. He's not aware of Fred at any moment. That's why he's made that slide, which is very stupid from him. But too lightweight, too feeble. You know, Partey, better second half passenger. Aubameyang, the biggest passenger of the lot. You know, young players left to their own devices. You know, Aubameyang, if I'm real with you, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Saka off the bench, need to find your shooting boots. You've got to take chances. That's the difference with that game. United took their chances. We were onto them. First 13 minutes, when we've obviously scored, we've had early corners. Rashford, he looked a bit nervous when he's put it over for a corner. United have looked a bit nervous, but they've settled. They're playing for their fans. They feel a hard bit done by with Smith Rowe, and this is where you need to put games to bed, because there's been games United might have been 2-3 down and they might get back in the game, or they might get a point, but that team's done enough. You don't get points for playing well for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes, for 40 minutes. And for me, it's highlights game management as well. What frustrated me as well is the time that the goals were scored by Man United. Beyond the obvious cheap mistakes, I just feel, 44th minute, bit of the Liverpool game, really, for after we scored, United were onto us. There was moments where we was punching and building and whatnot, but they were minimum. United were onto us. We're in our own half. I was begging for the halftime whistle. To concede on the eve of halftime, it shows me boys are not learning their lessons. And again, we scored the goal and sat back. I'm sorry, but 30 minutes, my maths is poor, but over an hour, you expect to sit back at a big pitch like Old Trafford with their attacking players, with their fans on top of them, with Ollie obviously gone feeling a bit positive. It's naive to think you're gonna walk away with we think we're just gonna win 1-0, And for me, it's when these goals were conceded. We've conceded on the eve of halftime. We've conceded about 7 minutes into the second half, and fair enough, all right, you've taken the lead, they've got back in the game, they've taken the lead, you've got back in the game. There's not too many times, forget at Old Trafford, but football in general, that you're going to get this. At 2-2, you need to, a serious team walks away with something. You've done nonsense, and obviously the penalties made the difference. Now, for me, I don't know what, so game management, man management, these sort of things. Players needed to be subbed quicker. For me, I know the headlines are going to be Aubameyang being a dud, Partey could get some, Odegaard penalty, and all of these played a part. But for me, purely speaking for Arsenal, I'm not going to scapegoat anyone. Everybody was part of that cocktail. All right, take away Odegaard's mistake, which you can't. Did we do enough to win? Take away Aubameyang's miss, whether he's offside or not, or just his performance. I think he was only there for about 15 minutes when we was pressing and all them things. Did we do enough? We didn't. We did not do enough. A man that's played 59 minutes in the Premier League for us probably was our best player on the pitch in El Nene. I actually think Ben White was all right. Saying that, watching the game again, I think for the first one was where Sancho fed in Fred and then Fred fed in Bruno. He's cleared it a bit nonchalantly. And I, off topic, but as United, looking at United, I wonder what their fans think of Fred. Bro, he's, 1 minute he's switching off for a goal, he's winning a penalty, he's involved, but at the same time, he looked quite terrible. I mean, both teams' midfield needs a lot of surgery in it, and it was shown. Looking at United, and again, I'm trying to save talking about Telles and Deluded, because obviously next episode of the fullback union. But for me, again, I don't know what Rangnick's going to do. But definitely where Deluded is concerned, I actually think there was good battles across the pitch. I think Jadon Sancho versus Tomiyasu, both men can leave that pitch with their reputations intact, and I'd say enhanced. I think Tomiyasu did well. As I said earlier, I think Sancho did well. I personally think it was a good battle on the left-hand side. Martinelli throwing a couple jabs, Telles defending. It was a good little battle. There was good little 1v1 battles across the pitch. Arsenal lost typically out of them, if I'm honest with you. I think Deluded played well. Obviously, I'm sure he's played the pass that Rashford, when Rashford set up Ronaldo, I'm sure in the second half, I think Deluded's played that initial pass, and look what it gives you just by going forward. Like, just by going forward, Rashford had space. I don't feel Tavares was as bad as fans are making out, and Tierney might have played poor, but again, this is what I'm telling you, the spaces. These are young men, but they're old enough to learn, and I have never played Premier League football, but if you listen to my preview, I said these things were going to happen. I said that's a big pitch at United. I said you can't sit back. I even said it's naive to think we're getting a clean sheet. We're going to have to outscore them. Now, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo. That's a myth. Our strikers don't know how to score goals, really, and we're shooting like a bunch of pansies, really and truly. I love Saka, and Saka, you can't blame him, but he's even had, if we're keeping it true, he's even had 2 chances where he could have fashioned something late at the game, I'm not going to blame him, because really, Saka, Lacazette, even Eddie and Nketiah, just by fouling, man, I've seen their presence more than anyone else who was on the field through the middle. And like I said, you lot were there for 13 minutes. There was a couple bits and pieces where you attacked, there was a couple of moves, but I just feel there's an inferior complex away from home. A lot of the things they did against Liverpool were highlighted against United. There's no shame in losing 3-2 to Man United, where Ronaldo's made the difference. And we can't focus on coulda, woulda, shoulda, but it's a game where you could have given more. It's a game where you've presented silly mistakes. It's a game where I actually feel United played quite well when they had the bit between their teeth and felt hard done by. But you've presented these goals to them. United have built these goals and they've been good, but you've handed them to them. You haven't necessarily had to see Ronaldo's, Jadon Sancho's, Bruno Fernandez's, Rashford's quality. And I think we was very naive to sit at a big pitch like United for over an hour. I don't know if Arteta's told them to sit deep, which I do think he did, but you could see he didn't believe that, because he's telling them to get up. I do think it was very naive. It's now, you know, we score a goal and we revert back to type. It's like we think every game's Norwich and Newcastle and these games there, games where them games there could have been like this United game. We played the exact same way, but we was largely untroubled. You know, at the end of the day, a team's a reflection of the manager, and I can't lie, it does feel Arsenal is very cowardly and reactive. You know, when you got forward and tried to fashion little chances, you put United under pressure. When you sat back like pansies on the edge of your area, there was problems in that regard. Too disjointed, senior players not standing up, looking over shoulders, lack of game management, not playing well for 90 minutes, not closing out games. I think Ramsdale alluded to it a few weeks ago in a sense of sticking literally to the game plan. I did like at times we had to play short and we had to go long and we had to sit in. But at times it felt like we're not being sensible. We're just booting the ball long. Aubameyang on the best of days is not going to win it. And it's just coming right back at us. And anyone that's played Sunday League, when you're defending, that's tiresome. Lo and behold, the gap started opening for at least 2 of Man United's goals. In fact, probably the last 2 where Ronaldo's tapped it in. If you go and I screenshotted it, no one's picked him up. No one's picked up Bruno. You know, no one's picked up Rashford. Man United on an ideal day, them great players, movement. You can't afford to go missing against them attackers. You can't, and we did. And it's another big test failed. I told you, look, form goes out the window. Of course, as an Arsenal fan, looking into the game, there's never been a better chance to try and beat United. There was never a better chance in hindsight to play Liverpool. And again, I was pessimistic in both them games because these same performances are put in, week out by us. But it's a game where you don't prove your credentials. End of the day, you're 5th at this moment in time. There's no margin for error. I told you, lot, in relation to Arsenal, Tottenham, United. One thing people need to be careful of is media rhetoric because, you know, United were winning the league and then they were getting relegated, much like Arsenal. You know, a couple of wins or 4 points in recent games. Look where they are in the table. They're back in for the top 4 shouts, which 4th spot wasn't, you know, we were saying it's pretty much an open and shut case where first to 4th is. They made a meal of it. You know, Spurs beat Brentford yesterday, game in hand. Fair enough. They've got Leicester and someone else. I'm sure they've got Leicester and someone else, Spurs, Leicester and someone else big. But you see how gazy it is. Now, at the end of the day, Arsenal sit 5th, minus goal difference. You know, you drop points, but you're still in a good race. You need to get back on it. But this highlights cheap performances. You know, at 2-2, you should recognize, okay, we have messed this up. We pattern now, walk away with something. And that's not just at Man United. You need to be able to go to Old Trafford, go to Stamford Bridge and get something. Try a thing against at the Etihad. Easier said than done. Put in a credible performance at Anfield. As an Arsenal fan, you need to be, for me, I need to see you go to St. Mary's, go to Brighton, go to Wolves, go to Villa and put in performances. And as an Arsenal fan, we never have it both ways. If our home form is half decent, the away form's a bit shaky. I know we beat Leicester in that. If our away form's on point like last season, the home form's a bit shaky. There's very little consistency, but I do think if you've genuinely been watching Arsenal and not trying to proclaim us whether we win, lose or draw positively or negatively, this performance is put in every week. This kind of performance is put in every week, whether we win, lose or draw, much like United's 3-2 victory against us yesterday. Both teams put in that some similar performance, ultimately, in short, making games harder than it needs to be. And obviously, off topic, shout out Michael Carrick because, you know, I think he's announced that he's stepping down. You know, he's taking everybody by surprise. I don't know why, but he is. You know, I think he wants to, I don't know how, but I think he wants to step into management. And I can only go on 3 games, but 2 games for me, really. I think Carrick's going to make a good manager. You lot that sat here on my previews, on all the United previews I did, I said from what I saw against Chelsea, and a lot of it came to ruin us yesterday, I think Carrick knows bits of what 1s and 2s about things. He's very interesting how he sets people up. You know, Fred was terrible, but you got a bit more out of Fred because he's pressing higher up the field. You know, Bruno got back on the score sheet. You know, I did feel we frustrated Ronaldo, but at the end of the day, Ronaldo only needs 2 opportunities, and he probably should have had a hat trick. Ramsdale made a good save. Tomiyasu with an important block. I remember Bruno Fernandes in the second half. He's put one ball in and it's whistled across. I was thinking, you know, if that's United of Tevez, Berbatov, Rooney, etc., someone's crashing that in off the late post, off the back post late in, but. We didn't do enough in it, you know. When respectfully to all these teams, when you play Watford, when you play Newcastle, when you play Norwich, you can get away with it. you know, because all of them things that were in this United game exaggerated, but they were all there. You've got to earn the right to play, and I still think our boys have an inferior complex. United, you know, not United, sorry. Arteta is still too negative as a manager, and what I mean by that is I'm not saying I could have expected you to set us up any better than yesterday. I think Lacazette could have come on quicker, but you know, I just think there's no bravery there. There's a real inferior complex. I don't think these men really believed when they're going forward. You know, you look at United in them first 13 minutes, they were very nervous, and we didn't capitalize on that. And in football, you know, it's a sparring game. Like United, there's going to be times we're on top, they're on top, and you have to weather that. And ultimately, you know, there's positive signs, but it's overstated. And for me, games like that, as much as it's about tactics, it's about the mentality. And these are games that you should want to put in a good performance. I'm not saying anyone wanted to play poor, but it's disappointing because you're left wanting more. Now, United, I'm sure there's many things their fans will say they can work on. End of the day, character, Ronaldo brace, Bruno scored. You know, Sancho, like I said, for me, best player on the pitch. I feel Maguire watching the game again did quite well for them as well. If people watch it again, Deluded and Tellez probably the first choice fullbacks. Not that I know anything. You know, it's a good thing, and this can be what I don't want to say turn your season around, because away from the sentiment, away from them obviously playing poor, the season is still there. They're only out of the League Cup. You're still in the FA Cup. Still, league purposes can get there. But it is what it is. For Arsenal, I'd say the gloves have to be off now, people. Like, we can't afford to carry anyone. Like, you know, the young players, all right, cool. Every now and again, they're going to play well. Like yesterday, you know, I'm shameless. You know, Smith Rowe scored from outside the area against Man United at Old Trafford. You know, that's a better banger than Lampard or Gerrard have ever scored. You know, more big game goals than certain man. There's agendas to run. Obviously, Martinelli played well. You know, Saka should have scored, but came on and was a bit lively. The young players are doing a mazza, but it's the experienced ones that are getting away with a lot, man. You know, it's getting away with a lot, you know. And again, it's the young players that are putting in performances, and there's real inconsistency or inconsistent moments from the experienced players. I feel Partey, on reflection, I was a bit harsh. It's a 5 out of 10, but I don't know you played, you know, respectfully. You and El Nene yesterday, who looks like the man that's played 59 minutes of Premier League football prior to that game? Who looks like they played for Atletico? Smith Rowe and Odegaard. There, Odegaard scored, and I think he fashioned a good chance for Martinelli. But who looks like they were at Real Madrid? Smith Rowe or him? Come on now. Aubameyang, Eddie Nketiah, just by fouling, man. The only time Aubameyang looked half positive is obviously in the first 13, 15 minutes when we looked like we had a game plan, looked like there was belief, looked like we're trying to press them. But as much as I think it's the game plan, I think the players have an inferiority complex. It's like we get excited. We're up. You know, them and they are nervous. We're at them. We've scored, and it's like you at this level and you just go, and then you concede, and then you go, and then you equalize, and and then you're back down. You can't do that in the Premier League. And the best of days, much less at Old Trafford and against a team that need to get their form back. And the managers, well, you know what I mean? Carrick's managing the team, but Ralf Rangnick's there, in it. So it's a mazza, man. It's a mazza. And for me, I can't lie, respectfully, apart from El Nene, all the African players, you might as well go do a pre-season for AFCON. Pepe's not here. He might as well be a DJ. He might as well been at WizKid, you know, really, really and truly. You know, Partey, you're still on the partying thing. I love you, but yeah, you're just moving mad. Like, you know, Aubameyang, you might as well, you know, go and help Gabon, because you're not helping. None of the you man are helping us right now. So you might as well just go off and play. You prepare for AFCON and that. Like, Balogun might as well go through the middle or Project Martinelli, because, as I said, when Aubameyang is not scoring goals, he's not a better player than Lacazette. He's offering fuck all. Like, yeah, he gets opportunities and things like that. I mean, he's a service-reliant striker, but bloody hell, mate. Like, bloody hell, like, come on, man. Like, whether he's offside for that chance or not, I don't think he's off. You lot watching it said he was. Obviously, we live in a VAR time, sorry. You score that goal, you pressure the ref, VAR might allow it. He might be like, oh, no, actually, your toenail's onside. Boom. It is what it is, sort of thing. You know? You've got to earn the right. And again, we're a team with bad habits. Some of these guys have had bad habits prior to Arsenal. Some of them have got it off while being at Arsenal. And some of them just have it off their own back. You know, I would say bad habits. What I mean by bad habits. Fair enough, Odegaard's a defender. I mean, a midfielder. Why is he sliding? Professional footballer. I can't tell you nothing. I've only played Barnet League and Eastern Junior Alliance and them thing there. But I know anytime you're going to ground, it's techie, especially in the box. Even one where I think Rashford in the first half with Tavares, you know, Tavares is one, he won the ball, but it's like There was no need to do it. So it's like the thinking process. Again, on the edge of half time, the way we're clearing the ball, again, it was poor sequences, the thinking processes. We need to unlearn bad habits. I don't think Tavares was massively poor, but you saw the errors, doing silly skills where there's no need, getting caught in the space where I think Deluded played it with his left peg for Rashford and it scored. You can't, this is naiveties. You can't do that at Old Trafford. But we did. So it is what it is, people. I'm not gonna cry. It's not, it's not the worst performance I've seen. Of course, the social media derby, we've lost it. You have to hold your licks and all of them things. But it is what it is. For me, it's just the fact of carrying passengers. I always say the young players, we can waffle about, what these guys are gonna look like, but the players, and they're important and they're vital. But it's the players that are the present that are going to take us to that level. Ronaldo, as great as he is, Ronaldo's not going to be at Man United for a million years. But what they do with Ronaldo and all these experienced guys now sets up whoever comes through the door, but sets up currently, Jadon Sancho, Greenwood, etc. And the same logic with Arsenal. What we do now sets up the platform for the Smith Rowes, for the Martinellis, for the Sakas, and these sort of guys, these guys for the present. And that's what scares me. These time is ticking for everyone, but the experienced players have a ticking time bomb, and we've got a 3-4 year window to kind of fix up and whatnot, and we're messing about. Aubameyang's gonna walk about. Lacazette's inconsistent on the best of days. Let's be real, throughout the course of a full season, and you can't rely on him. Partey, I don't know what's going on. Big up him for going WizKid concert and that, I don't know. Odegaard, you're a senior player to me, still only 23, but you are a senior player to me. I don't know. For me, I'll be real. Looks like he needs to eat some hard food. Looks like he needs some yam and green banana and them thing there. Arteta, you was at Manchester City. I don't know what they give Bruno Fernandes, but not Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. But you need to make a call and get them supplements, Carl. Odegaard, I think people are giving him a bad rep, but you're not on it. You're not on it. 1-2 little barging and you're done for. You need to pattern up a bit. How Smith Rowe stronger than you, respectfully. You're a pansy then, innit? Man need to hit gym, real gym, core workouts. The core needs to be there. Too feeble, man. I do think he puts in a shift and runs about and them things more than people give him credit for, but too feeble, man. Don't know what I'm going for Odegaard. Partey, I know you need a midfield partner, but you was poor off your own back. Better second half, but by then the damage was already done. Aubameyang, I don't know what we're going for you right now, man. When you move like this, I actually wish you was late, and as a result of being late to training or whatever, you get dropped, because again, the way Aubameyang's moving right now, respectfully, captain, you're not moving like the captain and you're behaving like you've got bets on. I can't lie to you. You've been on thin ice. And I said yesterday, that this is the game, innit? I'm still a Aubameyang FC, but you've lost me. I'm Arsenal FC before anything. I can't carry you. You can't get carried. When Tierney was shaky, he got dropped. When other men are moving shaky, they get dropped. We tried their thing. We tried the romance thing. Aubameyang, Old Trafford, the fans are onto you. We're giving you an opportunity. Do your thing. He didn't do his thing. El Nene did his thing. I'm not gonna lie, people probably might have started El Nene because of the back of what happened last year, but man, we're not really too happy with that. He took his chance. I feel Ben White, and for me, Tomiyasu, Ben White, El Nene, I can't ask Ramsdale to do anything more. You lot are calm, innit? I don't think Tavares was that bad, but I told you, man, these things are gonna happen. Even if Tierney played, things might have happened, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's just frustrating, man, because it's the same old self-inflicting errors. It's the same old BS, whether we win, lose, or draw. But it is what it is, man. Man called him Margagard. That's it, bro. But there's Marga, man, in the Prem that do their thing. It's not just about being 6 foot and whatnot. You just have to want to not lose it. And my man's just, what's going on? But this ain't Disney Channel. I know you're a cute guy. You got blonde hair, blue eyes, but you need to be a thug. And I actually think he's more rougher than people give him credit for. I think he played better than man giving credit for. But fundamentally, you went from being a villain to a hero to a villain again. Carl, man don't care that you scored. They're just going to see the silly pen. And I'm just going to see that because what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Seriously, why are you doing that? I think the bigger mystery is why is Fred there? But why are you there? Why did you do that? And these are the things. There's too much brain farts, You get away with them. There's been brain farts in a couple of games, but what? Lokonga's done silly stuff. Throughout the season, Lokonga's done silly stuff. Tavares has done silly stuff. Ben White's done silly stuff. Xhaka's done silly stuff. Aubameyang's done silly stuff. Odegaard's done silly stuff. Whether people have played square passes, not followed runners, missed vital opportunities, made questionable decisions that have led to goals, hospital passes. You know, they have to hold their L's. But this is what I'm telling you. It is part of it is because they're young, but part of it is because they just have bad habits, and you're old enough to learn. I know old habits die hard. Some of you are smokers. I know you always swear I'm not gonna dank it anymore, and then you're there smoking spliffs. So old habits die hard. Consistency is beneficial. I mean, it's very beneficial, but it's difficult. But at the same time, these players are old enough. I'm sorry, you being young, fair play, but you're old enough to watch a game again and know you're doing bad things. And this is what I mean by bad habits. Some players have accumulated this because they're of a certain age. Certain people have brought this from previous clubs. Certain people have been coached bad habits at this club, and it's a thinkers man game. You know, ultimately, United were the better thinkers. Thinkers. I'm thinking of a madness there. Thinkers. So yeah, man, it's a thinkers man game. When Odegaard does what he does, he's not thinking. That's not thinking. When you switched off a minute before half time, you're not thinking. When you switched off 20 minutes before the end of the game and conceded a penalty, despite the fact of somehow God's given you a saving grace of getting in the game, you're not thinking, you know. And yeah, man, you know, there's no shit for me. There's no shame in losing these games. You know, obviously I'm vexed because of how we play to a degree, but there's no shame in losing these games. But you know, you've got to look at the points that have been dropped. There's 21 points on the table for Arsenal this month. Fair enough. 3 points are done. Fair play. You know, hopefully we can do a thing against Everton. But you need to look at these things. You know, how many points have we dropped already? You know, I would argue with you it's a point gained against Palace and Brighton, but we was never in them games where we had a lead against Palace. What? That's 4 points already dropped against them two teams. You know, add United in, that's another 3 points to add to the mix. You know, fair enough, you're always going to lose to Liverpool, Chelsea, and City, but you've got to add in them L's. You fucked up against Brentford. You know, how much points are you? I'm just saying that because you're chasing points. The same goes for United and any other team fighting for top four or whatever. You need to calculate the points you're dropping, and we're going to drop more points probably this month, but this season. So all they can do is forgive themselves. The benefit is it's not as bad as it was at the start of the season. You know, you're still fifth, you're still in the mix. You hold your L, you lost. Learn what you need to learn and get back on it, because the games aren't getting easier. The games are coming thick and fast. Simple as that. You feel sorry for yourself, you're going to slink down the table. Forget the narratives. There's hardly anything in that table. You know, United were the worst team ever. A couple of wins, where are they? Spurs, where are they? Where were we from the start of the season to now? Look at the relegation battle. There's hardly anything there. Look at the points between first to third. This table, in it, the whole 20 teams, there's not much in it. And it's starting to normalize now. It's a tough winter. It's a cold winter. And Arsenal need to take heed. Mikel Arteta, you're too defeative. You know, I'm not necessarily vexed with the lineup per se that started, but you're too defeative. You're too reactive. I think, you know, you could see that you thought, okay, hold on, let's not sit back. Now you're pushing the team higher. The team is not going to sit on the edge of their area on a massive pitch like United unless you told them to. And I don't begrudge that. Us playing a high line, we're in problems. You saw Sancho at any given opportunity wants to run down that left-hand side. You know, the lot's getting forward. Ronaldo is Ronaldo, etc., etc. But it's naiveties. Ultimately, for me, it's too defensive. And unpopular opinion, I don't think there's balance in this team. I don't think he's found balance. You know, it's too defeative. It's no coincidence. Our games that we win, especially big games, we done the underdog thing. We sit back. Spurs, fair play. Chelsea last year. Very rarely are we on the front foot. You know, if that game went how we wanted it to, you know, United would have never scored, but we would have, you know, for over an hour after scoring a goal within the first 13, we would have been sitting there and saying we've withstanded pressure. That's the only time Arteta wins. There's very few times Arteta is putting our boys out there and we're winning because we're shelling it down. We're playing good football. You know, we're sitting back. We're being proactively reactive and other teams are making mistakes and we're running with it. I'm not begrudging that. I just think I don't want to use the word cowardly, but I think it's very cowardly. But yeah, man, that's that, man. Obviously, I just needed to. This is therapy for me. Sorry for talking way too much. I've been missing beer comments, so let me take in what you lot are saying. I don't know how you're pissed from last night. I wouldn't say I'm pissed, but isolated to Arsenal and what we could have done. But losing to United, away from the social media derby, when you play like that in many aspects, you're not going to get nothing from the game, man. Could we get your analysis on Arsenal's play style today? We knocked it around at times, but it's defeative, man. It looks like we need too many encouraging moments before man want to start playing ball. Like you could see United, one thing different. They've got a better mentality. I don't know if it's Ronaldo or whatever, but man sat there and said, "All right, we've conceded a dumb goal. You know, De Gea was done dirty. Let's play. Arsenal, there was only a couple of moments. It's like, oh yeah, we can actually ask questions. The only thing I'm happy with is that United can't buy clean sheets. And yesterday was able to do that, innit? They didn't buy a clean sheet. That's really the only positive away from the young players. You know, it's silly. Appreciate you lot for being locked in. Win, lose, or draw. Arsenal fans, whatever you lot are, you know, wherever you lot are, I appreciate all the support. No leaders on the pitch. They're the young ones, man. Was Pepe available? Pepe was on the bench. I'm redone him dirty. Well, forget about Pepe. I thought Pepe could have come on. I think, and I said it yesterday, I think that game also highlighted our lack of outlet. You know, in a game like United, where they're gonna be on top of us, similar to Liverpool, you need an outball, whether that's a midfielder who's an 8, who, you know, you look at Jorginho, even if Paul Pogba was fit, they can hold on to the ball, maybe get you, you know, show a bit of quality, win you a foul. You know, they're kind of press resistant, you know, or you have a hold up man, you know, Lacazette. We probably still would have, you know, we can waffle about Xhaka and Lacazette, you know, being in the team. They probably would have given us a lot more, but we've got smacked with them in, you know. Lacazette does give you a hold up play thing though. Or you have a winger where there's an outlet there. You give them the ball, they stretch the pitch, where, you know, there was no point really playing Tavares because we didn't try to do that. You know, Martinelli on occasion against Alex Telles, but I wouldn't say we're consistently doing it. There's no outballs. On top of being poor technically, on top of being extremely overrated defensive side. Yeah, we put some clean sheets together, but we still have these habits, and clearly being anything but an attacking side. How can you get 3 points game to game? How do you know what Arsenal is about? This is the problems. And this is, I think, if you've been watching Arsenal, this has been us from last year. This is all I've been saying from the start of the season, you know. Of course, I feel you lot that were optimistic. United have been poor, let's try a thing. Liverpool, Brighton, and whatever, let's try a thing. But man, forget where Arsenal are at. I can't sit here and say I can't really slate us. We scored 2 goals yesterday, but we don't score goals. As poor as United's attack was, I told you lot before it, that's an area both teams should have felt they could have got at the attack, which they did, and they got the proofs in the pudding with the 5 goals conceded collectively. But we don't create, you know. We do not create. And it's tiresome. It's like players don't understand their teammates and how they play. Like they're knocking it as high as they can into Aubameyang. Aubameyang's going to win 1 header out of 50. And we weren't winning the first or second balls either, which is not helping the cause. Don't know what we tried to do, but it could never have been trying to play a game of football yesterday, respectfully. What should we call this? What should we call this timestamp? Man United 3-2 Arsenal review. This will be on YouTube as well at some point. Don't watch that, people. And again, on the topic of YouTube, if you know, I want to kind of cover it from a more tactical point of view. But yeah, after this, I'm going live on YouTube, people. So make sure you're all there supporting the team as you lot always do. So yeah, take that in. There's that link being posted. Sorry for not taking it. What do you think the main problem is at Arsenal? How long we got? Let me finish my tea before it gets cold. Let me think. On one hand, I want to say personnel, but I think another manager might get, I'm not saying Saka or Arteta, but I think another manager gets more out of it. Like you look at Fred. Fred is shit. Pardon my French. He looks a better player under Carrick, because a good manager or someone that half has a clue, you can get limited. You can't always judge it on what you get out of quality players or the good players in your team. It's the song you can get out or the tune you can get out of average players. You know, just because they're rubbish or average doesn't mean they can't sing a tune in your team. And I don't think we get enough out of mediocre players. I don't think any player really plays to their maximum or full potential, if that makes sense. We've got way too many bad habits. Some I can condone because they're young players, inexperienced. Some are just simply bad habits or bad choices that we're doing week in, week out, and we're not really looking back at this footage and learning. Extremely overrated across many aspects, and that's not me trying to be a hater. It's, yeah, we've scored some goals and played well, but we don't score enough goals. You know, we don't play to full potential for the attacking players we have out there. You know, midfield, again, every week, whether we win, lose or draw, I'm saying we need technicians. The midfield hasn't been addressed. There's still not a plan for me with playing out from the back once it gets into midfield. The byproduct of that is there's nothing with our midfield, with our attack. Yeah, there was a couple of good moves, and, you know, I think in particular for Odegaard's goal, that was a really good goal in isolation to score from us, but it's not enough. Like, we can't keep finding that. There's many problems. Ultimately, consistency, mentality. Old habits die hard. And I don't know if we're learning that, man. It's everything, bro. It's player mentality. It's that, man. It is a social derby, media derby, man. I don't think Fred's good. I think you can get a tune out of him. I don't think Fred's good. That don't mean he's bad. You know, I personally feel a bit like Arsenal looking at our midfield. Anytime we're crying about Xhaka not being involved, that tells you anything. Anytime people are saying Fred is important for Man United, that tells you the levels. I do think he gets scapegoated at times, but I don't think much of him. But as I said, he's a player you can get a tune out of. And, you know, again, in particular, how Carrick's been using him further up the field. Clearly, he's better when you're not looking at him to be this defensive mid, this six, and try and progress play. You know, his game, one thing he can do is be a bit of a madman, press, try win the ball back high up the field, and he won a penalty, innit? That was good movement from him. But yeah, man. Big up Deluded, one of the few Gooners I rock with coming from a Chelsea fan. Aye, man, you got bad taste in club, but fair play. DG on Nene was better than Partey, in my opinion. What do you think? Across the whole 90 minutes, I agree. Second half, I think Partey was there, but yeah, man, I can't understand what's going on, man. Can't understand, brother. Bro, in a game like that, you need to keep hold of the ball. Like you said, man, they might call him L sideways, but it's a game. Them sort of isolated incidences. It's a game for that. What do you think of Aubameyang liking Ronaldo's post on IG? Bro, it's I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about it. I'm not saying Aubameyang and Ronaldo are brethren, but they all follow each other. It is what it is, you know. Ronaldo has scored 800 goals or whatever, but I can see why fans are peed off, really and truly. In the grand scheme of things, what annoys me is what's happened on the pitch. Amazon need to host more games on Prime. Still, the platform works so well. Agreed. I just wish the midfield played the ball into space more often. We ignore the striker runs. We do, but it comes to belief. And as I've seen with Liverpool and United, fair enough, we scored 2 goals, so there was slightly more belief. But psychologically, man didn't look like they believed they could score or pipe or move to United. And it's a mentality thing. Obviously, they're going to raise their game for us versus Watford. But, you know, on the rare occasions we troubled United, it's because we got forward and had a bloody chance. You know, De Gea's made a couple of saves. You know, again, inferiority complex, man. He has shown some good foundations. If you're speaking about Arteta, fair play, but or are you talking about Carrick? No, you think you're talking about Carrick. At the same time, DG, you got to remember we have a 450 million squad. We just have better players overall. The only difference. That's true, and a difference was made. You know, Ronaldo got you out of trouble, but at the same time, football isn't Formula One where, you know, I've got a better car than you. You know, it's 22 players, and the 22 players out there, you know, you could have it came down to finishing as much as anything, you know, as great as Ronaldo is, and he probably would, you know, they're not going to score forever sort of thing. There's been games United have turned around, but there's been games that you've played exactly like that, but the damage has already been done in the first 10 minutes or so. You've been doing that since last January. I remember Bruno Fernandes made an interview and he was like, we keep conceding silly goals. Ralf Rangnick has said it today. He said on average, United concede on average 2 goals a game. That's not sustainable. That's literally what he said. So there was a chance there. You're right. The difference was made, but I don't think it was because your players are, you know, more expensive. I just feel your players wanted it a bit better. They forgave themselves for the mistakes, and there was a bit more fight, guile, and togetherness. Our players crumbled. Couple man crumbled. Couple man wanted it. It looked like a couple man are looking at other players to make the difference and get a bit of inspiration. Playing well in 5 or so passages. You can't do that for 90 minutes. You need to win your 10-minute battles 9 times at Manchester United. You need to manage the game well. And as I said, when you concede a minute before halftime, when you concede 7 minutes into the second half, when you concede 20 minutes before the game's done, all while you've given yourself, at some point, you've had a foothold on the game, it's not good management, game management. And that's not what gets you into European football. Now, Arsenal have clawed back the season somewhat, but it's down to them what they want to do, man. I don't know how he's falling off as well, man. But again, I'm at the stage, you know, Aubameyang, you're still my guy. Still want you to have a part to play. Is what it is. But rather than dissecting it, well, you know what? Dissect that off the field. Come off the pitch. Lacazette, Saka, Martinelli. This is the thing. I can't even. I wouldn't necessarily drop Partey for Everton on Monday. But if it's El Nene and Lokonga, I can't cry. You know, you man, go and prepare for AFCON. Again, I told you, man, at the start of the year, the gloves off. There's, you know, the fans need to not do this. I'm not saying agendas, but you know how, obviously, as fans, myself included, we like more footballers than others. We all got more favoured players. The gloves are off. If you're not the Haylem boys and the young tugs like Martinelli, I don't really have time for you. You know, I actually like Pepe. No time for it. I love Partey, no time for it. Aubameyang, no time for it. Lacazette, no time for it. If man are not doing what they need to do, and I'm not saying just because you have a bad game, drop you or whatever, but if we're carrying you, we can't. Arsenal needs to be carried right now. I haven't got time for it. Aubameyang, I love you to death, but you're moving fucking pony. I can't cap to you. You know, like you're taking a piss. Like, I can't lie to you. You know, it's the way you're taking the chances. Like, what's going on? You know, good. But big up Martinelli and Saka. You know, solidarity with their captain, also taking meaty shots. But you're boying it. I think man are getting that party unnecessarily. But I ain't got time to care about his. Where, you know, I want to dissect where Partey's form is. But if it's not there, and not that there's better players in the team, drop him. Simple as that. Tini was moving shaky. Drop him. If Gabriel, Ramsdale, any of these guys, it's getting up a long period and they're moving flaky, drop them. Oh, is this an Arsenal thing or we loyal to agendas? We haven't got time to carry passengers, young or experienced. We have very few quality players. That, you know, that being said, we have very few players that are going to show extreme consistency levels. This is why there's going to be moments Tini's playing well, Tavares is playing well. Then they go and cock it up and things. I haven't got time for none of this. You know, I haven't picked the players, you know, we're on the breadline. All right, Everton, you know, these players might come back in and do their thing. Pick players that have a reason. Because going against Everton on Monday, where we'll cover it in a preview between now and Sunday, first and second balls, you know, form goes out the window for them. They should be looking at, they could get 3 points against Arsenal because we have bad habits. You know, you look at the build up to United's goals, we're switching off. We are switching off. Look at the left-hand side for Sancho picking up the ball where Ben White's cleared it. Look at, you know, the ball that the lots played. You know, Rashford, Tavares is nowhere to be seen. The third goal, again, it's against United have sustained pressure and nobody's looking over their midfielders are not looking over their shoulders and looking at Fred. And then, you know, the one midfielder that wants to track the run wants to be a pansy and make a slide tackle. I don't know what go on for that. I don't know what you tried to do. Not even using the proper side foot. You've used your stronger foot, which is the left one, rather than your right foot to slide, and you might have had an opportunity. You completely crashed him. And Arsenal fans thought we bust case. You're not busting case with VAR. And I will say as well, speaking for everyone that's very ready to attack referees like myself when they've played poor, you've got to hold them up when they've played a good game. Now I could sit here and, you know, I know some Arsenal fans are saying, oh well, maybe Tommy Yasu's being pulled by Maguire. I hear it. I think you're reaching. The big calls were right. Smith Rose, it's a harsh one to concede, but you know, De Gea has not been fouled. Well, Fred, I don't know if Fred knows what team he's on, but Fred has crashed him off. It's a goal. The penalty is a penalty. Initially, nothing was said. Look at it again. This is what VAR's there. The decisions were done. You know, it is what it is. We lost because we fucked about. Simple as that. Aubameyang reminds me of Pogba. When there's no ambition or goal to win anything at a club, just can't be bothered. I don't think it's a can't be bothered thing. I just think you're shit right now. Like, you're just being shit. You're doing shit stuff. You are shit right now. I think that's respectfully Aubameyang. I love my captain. That's it. I don't think it's a desire thing, money grabber thing. You've just shit now. You're just declining. We just can't carry you. Next season, you know, we can't offload him because it's not going to bang. Bring in another striker. Make this guy your number 2. Let him play assuming we get back in Europe. Europa League, if we got there, that's your thing. Rotation, that's your thing. See you later next year, Aubameyang. You've done well for the club. Big up you. Safe. Is what it is, man. Just safe. That's all it should be. Would you continue to start Tavares over Tierney? Do you know what? I don't feel Tavares was appalling. I was more pissed off with him against Liverpool. But for me, Tierney comes back in the team, personally. DG moving brazy, cute guy. Bro, Odegaard's a cute guy. Listen, man, I'm not a funny man thing, but he's a cute guy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, pretty boy. Could be a model, could do the David Beckham thing. I think he puts himself around and is a bit more tough than people give him credit for, but it's too soft, man. It's soft, man. Like, it's like, man, don't see you doing when you're, you know, our fans in our club, we're very quick to waffle when he's done it against Leicester or West Ham about his pressing, you know, all action touches for certain midfielders. Aubameyang this, you know, when Aubameyang says I'm the coolest captain, I never saw no cool cat. As I always say, a couple of these Arsenal players, I wouldn't want to go on a night out with them because if there's problems, you know, you're getting written off. Only a couple men are going to back it. Shout out Gabriel, and I know Kolasinac is somewhere lurking. Pardon me. I don't want to hear nothing about anything else, man. Is it time, pardon me, for rotation? It's always been a time for rotation. How did Arteta come up under Pep, yet his teams play like Jose is his dad? But unpopular. That's not a Jose thing. Because Jose, they get something out of that game. It might have been ugly, but they get something out of the game. United, the fans would have been a bit nervous. You're not breaking down a Jose side like that. This is why I say I do think we've improved defensively, but it's massively overstated. We've still got bad habits. We might not be up there for like goals conceded, but we've still got bad habits. These are still young men. They haven't been around the block. Partey's a bit inconsistent. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but when I see him, he has good games, but a lot of bad ones. DG, do you think Arsenal should cut their losses? No, I'm persist with Partey, but you know, he's just a limited player. He's never been the waviest one. Nah, dude, unpopular. Aubameyang's had mentality. He's just a dud right now, man. Deluded. How many years do you think Odegaard's going to need to be brave? Bro, you ain't got none in it. Man, need to see it this year. Simple as that. The whole team are soft apart from Tommy and Gabriel. Martinelli's not. But we suck at creativity against all the teams. But nobody cares when you've got over the line against Watford and that. At the end of the day, once you got 3 points, nobody cares. Because again, if you've been watching Arsenal and you keep it trill, yeah, we might have won games or lost games or whatever, but this is the same foolishness, whether we've won, lost, or drawn, that we've been doing all season and off the back of last year. When you win and we can waffle about unbeaten runs and whatnot, it is, you know, no one wants to talk about it. At the end of the day, we've had a good run. 2 big tests against Liverpool and United. You fucked it up, you know. You fucked it up. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Go again against Everton. You know, the games are coming thick and fast. The United game, it is what it is. Catch them on the rebound. The scariest thing is Ralf Rangnick is going to be a complete different team. You can't waffle now. They've won. I don't know who United have next, but they worry about who they got next, and we get into this. Should have stepped up, but them man, they ain't. Some man can't fight. Some man won't fight. Some man don't know how to fight. You know, that was the last draw with me for Aubameyang. We tried the whole, you know, and I'm not turning on Aubameyang. He's still my guy for what it's worth. It's still Aubameyang FC, but you need to hold bench. We tried the whole, all right, the world wants to drop you sort of thing. We're going to play you, talisman thing. And it could have been a romantic movie, but it's not Disney Channel. It's a horror. He sucked. Bench, you know, bench. Social media duties for the foreseeable future, captain or not, bench. You know, Tierney's been dropped. Odegaard's been dropped. If there was other number 8s, Partey may have been dropped. There's been times Saka could have been dropped. We've all spoken about this. It's not that anyone hasn't spoken about Aubameyang, but come on now. We can't carry, man. If you're not a young player, I'm not trying to carry you. We haven't got time for this. I haven't got time for this. I just want to see us look like a fucking football team. I'll be real with you, lot. Crystal Palace next. They're going to wipe the floor with Crystal Palace, you know, but I hope Vieira can do a thing, man. Tiresome, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Boy, we can talk about it, dissect the game. Fundamentally, it's done. Big up you lot for tuning in. Make sure you're hitting the like button and them things. I'm going live at 11:30 on YouTube as well, folks. Make sure you're there for that one, just so you don't miss that. Let me make sure I've dropped the link. But the thing is, we're even getting slapped up by smaller teams on the lowest of keys, but no one's saying anything. If Aubameyang leaves at the end of the season, would you still consider him a club legend or too little done? He's never been a club legend. He's a serious fan favorite. You know, he's been probably the best or one of the best pound for pound signings at the Emirates. You know, he's won FA Cup. He's been our talisman. He has carried this team. He's not doing it. Legend's a big shout, because when I hear legend, you might not be to the same stature, but that's Vieira, Henry, Bergkamp, you know, all of these sort of guys, Tony Adams, these sort of lists of players that he's not there. Fan favorite or the level just below a legend, I think you're there. You know, I think, you know, that's what I feel. It could be a cult hero thing. You know, legends thrown around too easily. Aaron Ramsey has more of a case of being an Arsenal legend than Aubameyang, and even that, you know, I can't say he's not to people that say he does, but for me, I don't think that's the case. Really and truly, I think the legend thing is just, it's a mazza. But yeah, where the other Premier League results are concerned, people, let me make sure 5900 PL review / preview. But yeah, the game's gone in it now. I'm not going to sit here and say I watched all the games, but I'm sure we all watched it. I watched Liverpool, you know, Mo Salah doing a mazza again. You know, Everton got absolutely razzled-dazzled. I think there were similarities between Everton and us in that there was times they hit back, but they looked extremely nervous. You know, taxi for Seamus Coleman. He never looked convincing in that game. And they got brushed aside, really and truly. You know, they did a thing initially. You know, Damari Gray was ripping, man, but it didn't do much, man. And, you know, Jota's goal was naughty. Celebration, yeah. Jota's goal was naughty, you know, with his left peg and then smashes it. Absolutely naughty finish from Jota. Liverpool won 4-1. I didn't watch it, but Chelsea got over the line. And as Thomas Tuchel said, they stole 3 points as Hakim Ziyech bagged the winner. Chelsea 2, Watford 1. You know, Mason Mount and Ziyech scored. You know, Dennis seems to keep scoring. I'm sure he's in a lot of you lot's FPLs. Most importantly, though, you know, there was an incident where a fan, you know, collapsed and things. It's happy to see or hear he's allegedly on the mend. So yeah, Chelsea beat Watford and did what they needed to do. So yeah, it's been wins. You know, I can't lie, Aston Villa did what they could. You know, Ollie Watkins tried a thing, but you know, I'm sure you saw Portuguese footballers have been doing quite a lot. You know, really, you had Jota scoring, Bruno scoring, Ronaldo scoring. Obviously, you know, Ruben Diaz and Bernardo Silva scoring. You know, Portugal's taking over and they're going to need all their players in form because out of them or Italy, someone's not going World Cup in it. But what a goal that was by Bernardo Silva, you know, to give Man City a goal. That was a good little volley. Obviously, Raheem Sterling and Gab Jesus with the assist. And I don't know if it's anyone else, but I was weirded out because, you know, Pep Guardiola's just playing people in positions like strikers actually playing as a striker. Wingers are playing on their right side, you know, on the right side. Like there was no beyond the obvious. There wasn't a Mazza going on really. And you know what? Wolves and Burnley drew 1-1. West Ham dropped points, which means it's more frustrating that we drop points. West Ham and Brighton drew 1-1. Southampton drew 2-2 with Leicester people. Newcastle and Norwich, a point doesn't help either side as they drew 1-1. And then obviously Leeds need 3 points. They grabbed 3 points against Crystal Palace. It seems like the Patrick Vieira hype is dying down. Bielsa's side low-key are creeping into a relegation race and they're doing all right to get out of it. In terms of the Premier League action to come, folks, apologies. You've got on Saturday, I'm probably going to do a watch along for this either on YouTube or Twitch, so make sure you're there. West Ham against Chelsea. West Ham need to get points on the board. Newcastle against Burnley, 2 teams fighting relegation. Southampton welcome Brighton. Wolves against Liverpool. You know, Diego Jota goes back to Wolves. It's the Jota derby. Watford against Man City. Now, I think City will win, but I think Watford might prove a bit of a bogey team. On the Sunday, you have Leeds, Brentford, Manchester United against Crystal Palace, Spurs against Oliver Skip's lone side in Norwich. Spurs won 2-0 as well. By the way, Skip played quite well. Son did a madness. They won 2-0 against Brentford. It seems like Brentford's results are normalizing. Yeah, man. The Oliver Skip derby sees Spurs welcome Norwich at home. Aston Villa against Leicester. I might do a watch along for that because that's going to be decent. But I'm wary of Everton preview needs to be done on Sunday. On the Monday, as I said, we've got Everton away at Goodison Park. We didn't win there last year. Can't be getting embarrassed there again. It is what it is. In terms of some other headlines as well, people, just before I forget about such, Carrick's obviously stepped down as well, people. Michael Carrick stepped down from his position, and he can leave with his head held high. You know, he beat Arteta, and he's probably not got no coaching qualifications, and he's undefeated. Probably has the best record as a Man United gaffer. You know, and it was quite emotional. He said, "It takes over your life. I promised my family after playing and putting so much time into it, I would spend time with them. I went straight into coaching and it consumes your time even more. I'm really content and I look forward to what's ahead. I told the coaches today around lunchtime, players in the dressing room, it caught them off guard a bit. I told the players 5 minutes ago, they were a bit shocked, a bit emotional. It wasn't easy keeping it away from people the last few days." And he even lied, said, "I hadn't had a conversation with Ralf Rangnick." And today it came out that he spoke with him a couple of days ago where Ralf tried to keep him and Fletcher. I don't know if Fletcher's leaving. He said, "I had a job to do and I was desperate to win the game for the club and the fans." You know, shout out to Carrick for that, you know. And he went on to say, "My time at this club will always rank as the best years of my career. When I first signed over 15 years ago, I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined winning so many trophies. And I will certainly never forget the fantastic memories, both as a player and as a member of the coaching team." And I mean, that failed move to Arsenal worked out all right in the end, didn't it, mate? For you. So yeah, congratulations to Michael Carrick. I got nothing to do with United, but I like him for some reason. In the Bundesliga, apparently games have been reduced to 50% capacity following new COVID-19 restrictions, folks, for what it's worth. So there's an issue. Christian Eriksen apparently is training at one of his clubs in Denmark after his cardiac arrest. As you lot know, due to laws, he can't continue his career, at least until medical things sign him off in Italy, folks. So yeah, that means it's peak for him. In terms of football, there isn't too many other incidences in the world of football, really and truly. You know, obviously Ralf Rangnick's been talking, and I'm a bit disappointed because I did want to speak about whatever he was saying because I've seen, as you lot have seen, 1-2 sound bites coming online and whatnot. But he has said the team's full of talents. He spoke about conceding. He spoke about, you know, he can't rule out staying beyond being a manager. It is what it is. Carrick wasn't rating Ralf Rangnick, baby. DG with my morning news bulletin. Appreciate it. Big up to you lot tuned in, man. Really and truly. You lot make this platform and the YouTube one for what it is, people. Without you lot, it's dead. Carrick realised Ralf was going to make him do actual coaching, not just say, come on, lads. Bit harsh. Ronaldo and Bruno had a poor 90 minutes. It's annoying that they get goals when we have other players that would have improved how we played during the whole game. Stat padding. That's true, but I think that's harsh. Like, Ronaldo was quiet. Bruno was here and there. As a neutral, I think it's harsh to say they weren't there for 90. And at the same time, ain't this... I know it's... I'm just playing devil's advocate. You're not wrong, but ain't that what them players meant to do? You know, Ronaldo, I didn't have the best 90 minutes. End of the day, he's got a brace. That's the headlines, innit? Bruno Fernandes, he ain't been scoring. He doesn't do well against top 6 sides, which based on last year, he wasn't. So maybe it continues in that regards for him. There's an issue there. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Everton holding an emergency board meeting, supposedly. Surely he's gone. Surely he's gone. Everton are in a mess. I swear, everybody was there waffling at the start of the year when they were running away with the league and whatnot and saying this guy's now a signing of the season and all this tosh. Now it's gone down the toilet. I can't lie. I don't want Rafa to be sacked. I like him, but I'm surprised, with it being a results business and all of those things and whatnot, Everton's form is toilet, to say it nicely. So if they're having if they're having a board meeting, it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. The lot had a good game, as did Tellers, man. The fullbacks had good jobs. I think Fred was all right as well. I say all right, Fred did Fred stuff, but at the end of the day, it's an enigma of a performance. He obviously won the penalty. He was shit across many aspects, but he was also quite good in many other aspects. Who else do I feel was good? De Gea's obviously De Gea. I actually feel Maguire was good, especially with his passing. Like, if you watch the build-up, watch the 90 minutes again. We own North London at the minute, unbeaten. Chill. This is United's first win in how many games against us? We'll take that, man. We've got to give you a lot of charity game, man. Chill out. What else have we got? What have you said? Where do you rank Bernardo Silva in the world right now? He's a top 10 footballer on current form, isn't it? It's perspective. Ronaldo is always in a good position on the counter. He doesn't track back, but it doesn't really matter. Unpopular opinion, he won a couple of headers when we were on top of them in the first 13. So I don't think that's fair to him. But yeah, man. Big up DG and the nation. After last night, I'm officially done with the experienced players in this club. Partey and Aubameyang were both useless again. They're meant to be leaders to help the youth get better, but these guys are being led by the youth. The subs by Mick Teta were all suspect. How are you bringing on Eddie when man has told you he doesn't want to be here head of Pepe? Bit harsh. We're bringing on a striker to chase the game. I wouldn't say that was necessarily suspect. I did want the subs to come early. Man. Yeah, it's one game, mate. If we look at the previous Arsenal and United fixtures, come on now. I hear that there's agendas, but we'll give you a victory, man. Don't make me draw for the results. Your managers don't do too well against Mikata. We'll give you that, man. Little clubs celebrating little victories. I have to, man. I have to. I'm tired of being humble. All results. I'm just trying to find this shit. Google's being an enemy of progress. Why are you not trying to show me Man United Arsenal results of recent years? There's the website. Let's go all the way down. What, in our last... I'll take that. G1, I respect it, but I'll take that. Since December 2019, two defeats in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. I'll take that. Well, since then, he's even won, because I said since in the league, let's keep it specifically Premier League. 1 defeat in the last 6 games. 3 wins, 2 draws. I'll take that. United not talking about the past. That's what you lot have become. Like, yeah, I respect it though, man. I hear the Ronaldo Bruno thing, but they aren't always the best options in games. You're not going to win anything if you don't start your best players. Same with Maguire starting over Bailly. I hear that. At the end, they had better individual quality. It was the difference. Yeah, their individual quality made the difference, but There was many things variables Arsenal could have been in control of. And we didn't. The variables you can control, being switched on defensively, not giving away cheap mistakes, taking your chances when they're presented. Arsenal didn't do that. And you've got to do it against a team that's got Cristiano Ronaldo and a team that is allegedly you're fighting to get a European place with. You don't do that, well, what happened last night, happens again, doesn't it? So it is what it is. Away from all the very naive, brother. Very naive, very naive. But, you know, I call it stupid because they played enough in it. It's nothing to do with naiveties, you know, respectfully. You know, I can't say experienced players are naive. Some of you have played in high pressure environments for Real Madrid. Some of you have been at Real Madrid. Some of you have scored goals for fun for years. And none of you were anywhere to be seen but Smith Rowe, a man that's been a footballer at Arsenal in the Premier League for about 12 months. Martinelli can't buy a game. He's looking better. You know, with the one experienced player that stood up to be counted, you know, we respectfully, he's played 59 minutes in the Premier. And, you know, this is the problem Arsenal are in my humble opinion. You know, we're waffling about Xhaka. We're waffling about Laka. I'm not disagreeing with that. You know, El Nene is a difference maker. This tells you respectfully to these players, this tells you where we're at. This tells you everything. So we have to hold that one there, man. But it is what it is. On that note, though, people, I'm a bit conscious of time. I have 27 minutes to obviously be live again, people. So, yeah, obviously, make sure you've joined me for the next live stream, people. Arsenal have been linked with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We're going to go over Man United, Arsenal again. We're going to do all of that good stuff. So, yeah, make sure you're all there, folks. I've dropped the link. And yeah, man, this has been a fantastic Twitch gang episode. I'm going to be live on Twitch again at 4 p.m. I haven't put the schedule in, but we will be playing Football Manager. I'm going to do it right after this, people. So yeah, man, you lot, stay safe, stay blessed. Appreciate you lot for tuning into this early stream. We go again, though, people. 2 more bits of live content. Tomorrow is watch along business and the rest of it. I'm thankful to everyone who's been supporting the thing. Do you do any raids? Yeah, but who are we going to raid? You know, who's live? Do you know what? Let's press a rating because I rarely ever do that. Raid channel. That was only a Formula 1 channel. Well, I don't know. There's no channels to raid, but it is what it is, man. You know, Rants isn't online or anything like that. So it is what it is. Time flies, man. I'll catch you lot in a piece. You know, I'm pressed for time. I've got to go make a timestamp, fix everything up. I'm probably going to be late for that one. Make sure you're following and subscribing if you haven't. Most importantly, stay safe, stay in good health, and I'll catch you lot again, Twitch gang. Big up yourselves. I'm out.
Because you always use that active red flag, defending.
I think it's like.
It's still fucking United though, don't get it twisted. Love it.